Let's talk about a very specific kind of magic, the kind that happens on a tango dance floor. It's this moment in time, this incredible sound, this feeling that was created by the legendary orchestra leader Francisco Canaro and a truly remarkable singer named Roberto Maida.
You know that moment, right? If you've ever been to a milonga, a tango dance, you know exactly what this feels like. The DJ puts on a certain set of songs, and just like that, the whole room buzzes. The energy just lifts off the floor. That electric feeling, well, that's what we're diving into today. And so often, it all starts with the unmistakable sound of Francisco Canaro.
So let's get right into it. What exactly is this music? And why nearly 100 years after it was recorded, does it still have this powerful, almost hypnotic effect on dancers all over the world? Okay, first things first, let's just make sure we're all on the same page with a couple of key terms. A milonga, well, it's not just the dance party itself. It's also a specific kind of music, way more lively and playful than your classic tango. And a tanda, that's just a set of 3 or 4 of those songs, usually from the same orchestra, that a DJ plays back to back. Now here's what's really interesting. The source of this specific magic we're talking about, it isn't some giant library of music. Nope. It all comes down to a very particular collection, just 14 milongas, all recorded by one orchestra in a really short period of time. All right, so let's zoom in on the what. We're talking about this brief but absolutely brilliant period between 1935 and 1938. This is when Francisco Canaro's orchestra created a set of milongas that would become, well, legendary. And you can really see that creative burst right here on this list. You'll notice it's a mix. Some are purely instrumental, others have vocals. But check this out. See that one name that just keeps popping up again and again? Roberto Maida. He is absolutely key to this whole story, the defining voice for so many of these timeless tracks. But yeah, those 14 milongas, believe it or not, that's just scratching the surface. The artistic partnership between Canaro and Maida was incredibly deep, and man, were they productive. Get this, 184. That is the sheer scale of their work together. This wasn't some fleeting thing. It was a massive collaboration built on trust and a shared vision. They created this huge legacy that goes way beyond just these iconic milongas. So that brings us to the big question. Who was the man behind that voice? To really get to the heart of this music, we have to understand the incredible life story of Roberto Maida. Maida's journey is just amazing. He was an Italian immigrant who found his voice in Buenos Aires. And get this, by the time he's only 20 years old, he's already a star touring Spain. It was actually over in Europe that he befriended his own hero, the one and only Carlos Gardel. You know, the most iconic figure in tango history. This timeline just shows this meteoric rise, completely fueled by his immense talent. And his impact was immediate, and it was international. I mean, before he was even a household name back in Argentina, a Spanish magazine in 1928 was already calling him the indisputable creator of the Criolla song style in Spain. So he wasn't just singing tango, he was literally defining it for a whole new audience. Okay, so we've got the music and we've got the man behind it. But how does all of that history translate to a packed dance floor today? Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the DJ's Playbook to see how they turn these classic tracks into modern-day magic. Yeah, there's a real strategy to it. A lot of DJs love to start the first milonga tanda of the night with one of Canaro's. Now, here's a little trick. They'll often pick one of the slightly slower ones. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? But it gives dancers more space and freedom to be creative. And the golden rule? You make sure not to play another Canaro tanda right before or after it. You gotta keep that special sound fresh and exciting. So, this brings us right back to where we started. Why? Why does this music, recorded almost 100 years ago, still have such a powerful grip on dance floors all around the globe? Well, the answer seems to be this perfect combination of things. The music itself is just so lively, so catchy. It's perfectly crafted for dancing. Its rhythm and its infectious charm practically pull you onto your feet. But the final, essential ingredient woven through it all is that warm, unforgettable voice of Roberto Maida. You see, in the end, it's not just about the notes on a page. It's about the story. Knowing the journey of Roberto Maida, this young immigrant who becomes a star and befriends his own hero, it just adds a whole new layer of richness to it. When you hear his voice, you're hearing that history.
And that's the connection that we can still feel on the dance floor today. And it really leaves you with a bigger question to think about, doesn't it? What separates a good song from a truly timeless one? Perhaps, as the story of Canaro and Maida suggests, it's when impeccable craft meets a story so human that its rhythm can still be felt, completely unchanged, a century later.